Hi everybody, welcome to the HRTech.me's demo December 2022 edition. Today's session will showcase how we can leverage technology for managing talent in the Middle East. Quickly moving to a strong knowledge of the HRTech system, our HRTech marketplace provides easy access to HR technology, skills and talent, thereby enabling accelerated workplace and workforce transformation to deliver strong business and talent outcomes. We are a Singapore headquartered HRTech market development and analysis firm. We are set up in 2018, and early this year, we set up our Middle East specific HRTech marketplace to help Middle East enterprise HR teams identify technology solutions for their business and HR challenges. HRTech embarked on the HRTech marketplace and demo series in 2019 to evangelize and promote the use of HR technologies. The event provides a platform for HR technology providers to showcase their high-tech solutions, aiding to adoption of HR tech. And the event motto has been only to showcase demos and not presentations. After the onset of the pandemic, we moved to a strictly on-demand webinar format. HR tech demos. We have done demos events focused on specific topics such as leveraging tech for university hiring, R&R for the hybrid workforce, conversational AI in HR, leveraging tech for talent development, and many more. Here we have our expert HR panel, Nidhi Srivastava, talent acquisition partner of G42. Today's topic will be focusing on leveraging tech for managing talent in the Middle East. Today we'll be focusing on HR tech market trends in talent management. Why are we having this demo talking about the increasing need for leveraging technology for managing talent? We have various factors such as war for talent. When the Middle East economies were blooming, finding and retaining the best talent is the most challenging aspect of HR business teams. Even when companies are laying off people, organizations are facing a shortage of top talent. Second reason being the rise of data-driven HR. Large enterprises are leveraging data and analytics to forecast trends and plan their organization for their futures. Productivity issues. Not just that, there is a clear linkage between talent issues and productivity. Talent recognition and rewards are critical for organizations to ensure employees do not quietly quit. A total of $12.2 billion was pumped into HRTech startups across 420 plus global deals between January to November 2022. The funding amount stood at $13.7 billion for the cooperative period in 2021. Middle East region HRTech startups for the period of January to November 2022 raised $329.7 million across 11 deals. We're thrilled that as a part of our HR panel, we have to witness the demos, we have Nidhi Srivastava. To present these demos, we have Entomo, represented by Rchilli, Rchilli, represented by Atilesh. Now I request Ruchi to take over and continue with her product demonstration. Over to you, Ruchi.
Thank you so much. Hi, guys. Well, as correctly articulated, we've actually seen trends in the UAE marketplace and also how performance, productivity, talent are so tightly integrated that it's really difficult to focus on one thing without seeing the impact on the other aspect. And yeah, taking that forward, well, let me start with introducing Entomo. And all right, so the way we position our platform, we are a people experience platform built for digital world of works. And when we talk about digital world of works, we really are looking at three aspects. We're looking at work, we're looking at worker, and we're looking at workplace. I'm sure that everybody know how the whole concept of these three elements have changed in the past few years. And there is more and more need for us to look at workforce, which is distributed, which is hybrid, which is digital at this point in time. And driving through the workforce changes is where the platform comes into the place as to how the platform needs, how the HR needs need to come into the space and need to be aligned to these changes. Well, again, success drivers, if you want to be successful in this digital world of work, is for you to be digitally engaged, which is not a brainer. The platform needs to be experience driven. So the platform that you're using needs to deliver the experience at every stage so that the users are not really lost when they are exploring a particular platform, but it's very intuitive and it's very self-explanatory. It needs to be backed through behavioral science because it's impossible for HR today to understand every single persona and every single employee in the organization. But when behavioral science understands the construct of a particular person, whether it is how the person needs to be motivated, what are my motivation factors, what are the things that really kicks me from a productivity perspective, the organization will be able to exactly focus on those elements and will be able to drive productivity. It needless to say, it needs to be AI powered, looking at all the data that we have at this point in time. It needs to all come together, and whatever that we are doing for a particular organization needs to be very well contextualized and personalized. And of course, at the end of the day, it needs to be focused towards people growth. What we do as a part of Entomo is we look at three key aspects. We look at engagement, something that we were hearing about just a while back. We look at performance, and we look at talent development. And exactly what I was saying is that all these three elements are very tightly integrated. You would see that if you focus on the one, you would see the ripple effect onto the other element. And it's really great because organizations have seen that when they engage employees better, when they focus on their career aspirations, their skill growth, they automatically see the performance and the productivity of the employees go up. So in the next element of our conversation, what we're going to do is that we're going to look at our products demo. And these are the top aspects that we are going to see. We are going to look at how organizations focus on KPIs and OKRs, how goal cascading has become very important. We'll try to remain focused on the top trends as we've seen in the UAE market, both from a people perspective, from technology perspective, and from customer perspective. So when you look at people, what are the changes that people aspect have seen? What are the different skill growth that we've seen? How are organizations reacting towards the new age people transformation? Do they need to be reskilled? Do they need to be skilled into the multiple aspects? Do they need to be given a learning towards not only what they're doing at this point in time, but also their aspirations and their potential future career growths? When we look at the technology aspect, again, this comes under top two of the top trends that UAE is seen. And we did the research specific to banking, healthcare, and FMCG sector. And we've seen that there is a lot of focus on digitalizing the entire end-to-end employee life cycle. When you look at employee life cycle, it's basically about how people experience every single element, right from when they come into the organization to how they provide services to customers, to when they exit. It needs to be digitalized and it needs to provide that kind of an experience. So just last few seconds, I'm going to talk about what we'll cover, and then I'll move on to the demo of our platform. Focusing on talent transformation, something that we're going to do in today's session. We'll focus on competency management. What kind of competencies the organizations want to focus on? In addition to the internal competency of the organization, how does the contextualization come in when you look at other industries? So for example, when I'm working in the banking industry, I would want to see that what are the competencies that my competitors in the banking industries in UAE are looking at? Because I want to be competitive and I want to deliver as much and more, maybe better than my competitors. And this is exactly what we bring into the table, where we provide to organization their competitive market intelligence through the platform that we have, so that they can look at the data which is very specifically contextualized to their business. And how we do that? It's because we are integrated to global job boards, which is where we can understand roles and skills, skill taxonomies, relationship between roles and skills. Personalized talent recommendations, which is nothing but learnings, and not only specific learnings, but the learnings that talk to me from my skills and my role perspective. And lastly, career pathing. So that is something that we'll focus in today's session. I'm going to now move on to our product demo very quickly, and let me know when you guys can see it. All right. So this is the product that we have. I'm going to focus on the talent segment since this is something that we are talking about today. And this is where you land. So this is the Entomo hub page. You log in and you basically have the whole system where you're triggered with personalized insights. These insights are things to know and things to do. So things to know are all consumables that an employee needs to know just from an FYI perspective. But again, these are all very contextual to me. You know, if I'm, for example, working in a project management role, the insight that will be triggered to me will be around the operations risk, will be around customer satisfaction, will be around project management, resource utilization, etc. Things to do will be actionable. So these will be something, things that I'm supposed to do and something that I've not done. So you don't really need to explore through, 10 different systems or your emails. Everything from all different systems that an employee uses all gets curated in this system. So that is where the employee lands. I'm going to move on to the career aspect of it. So this is very interesting. And, honestly, I've seen not only in the UAE market, but also across that there's a lot of focus on understanding an employee skill and role health index. When I'm working in any organization, what is the most important thing? The most important thing is the skill that I'm bringing to the table, the role that I'm delivering, and how an organization can help an individual. And honestly, gone are the days because you can't expect a 10 people HR team to understand complex roles like a Scrum manager or a Scrum master or a Python developer, or not only these complex roles, but when you look at sales manager or a customer success manager, it's not very easy for HR to understand all of this. But when you look at the system and when you have all of the data fed in, an employee would be able to look at his or her current role and how he or she is proficient at that point in time. So for example, if I'm in a project management role right now, I can look at that, hey, I'm currently 71% competent to be able to deliver that role based on the skills and proficiency that I have for that particular role. And what is it that I do not have are these skills, something that I should have, which is important for a typical project manager working in UAE, but this is something that I don't have. So all of this data really comes from the knowledge graph, which is the market intelligence engine that I was talking about, where you have millions of job descriptions, and these job descriptions are deconstructed into the jobs and the skills. So for example, just look at a project manager working in a banking industry or working in an IT industry, very typical scenario. The platform will be able to capture all the project manager working across industries and what are the skills that they have and what are the skills that have been proven successful. And based on that, it will tell the individual that, hey, I think you need to have negotiation skills. You need to have team focus skills. And not only that, it will also tell you what proficiency you need to have for that specific skills. For example, here, it will tell me that for me to be a project manager, I need to have an expert level of proficiency on this particular skill. But my skill in this particular context is only at an advanced level, which means that there is a gap that is there. And what we do is that we automatically curate learning recommendation from either open sources, or if there is a learning management system that an organization has, then we curate the learning recommendations from there. And these learning recommendations are, again, very specific to what I'm doing. And this is where this is the value that we bring onto the table, where the platform democratizes career growth for a particular individual. So this is from a current role perspective. From a future role perspective, I, as an individual, I'm given a career path. So this is either aligned to the organization. If an organization has a career hierarchy, then that is something that we pick and we display. And we will tell the individual that, hey, based on the skills that you have, you can be a functional head, but you're only 34% matching to the role. We can totally tell you that, what are the expected skills that you should have if you want to be a functional head. And these are the skills that you should work. You should work on people management skills, You should work on client relationship management, developing strategies. And where are these skills coming from? Again, going back to the knowledge graph where we have the market intelligence curated from all over the world. So this is where the user can also plan his or her future graph and say that, yeah, you know what, I'm actually aspiring to grow in the line of a functional head. So I'm going to add that to my aspirational role. And this is also something that's available for the managers to see, so that they can also see how the employees are planning to progress into their career and support them. So what are we doing here? We are engaging the employee by giving him or her the visibility into how the person can grow. We are giving career pathing. We're giving learning recommendation, which is contextualized learning recommendation. And as we do all of this, the employee is constantly working on their skill. And when they're working on the skill, they will improve their productivity and performance. So that is the cycle that we work on with organizations, and we've seen the ROI grow year on year substantially as this platform is being implemented. I was talking about learning recommendations. So the learning recommendations are curated from a current role perspective, from a future role perspective. You just saw that I had added a functional head as my one of my career recommendations as a future role. So this is something the learning recommendations will get curated for this specific role and for the other roles that I had earlier curated, but I'm not working on at this point in time. And then the other module that we have is around jobs, where if you want to, and this again goes back to the engagement topic, if I have career opportunities, I would want to give it to the existing employees. I want to give them the opportunity for them to apply and then grow into a role that they would want to aspire, grow into. And that is where, you can post jobs. And here in this scenario, if I want to be a senior Scrum Master or a program manager, you would see that the percentage matching is 77%. It is because I'm already a project manager, and based on the skills that I have, I am pretty much there to already be a program manager. And I can go here, I can apply for this particular job. I can see what are the skill gaps that I have. So I do not have software engineering. I do not have invoicing skills. I do not have business development skills. This is where the curated learning recommendations are going to help me. And I can go ahead and apply and work on this specific job. So these are some of the basic and key elements when we talk about talent transformation as a subject, or we talk about how organizations are focusing on talent. But one of the other pretty important subject, and I'm not going to take a lot of time, is the 9 box. We've seen that there is a lot of interest in organizations to use the whole 9 box strategy, where you would be able to define and draft how the employees will scale, from a potential and performance perspective. And this is again something that our platform is able to do, so that you can look at any specific employee and see that which quadrant does the employee fit on. And this will drive a lot of things. This will drive what employees you need to focus on. So for example, if someone is great on potential but less on performance, maybe you would want to focus on some learning recommendations for them. If the potential is really low and the performance is low, then maybe you want to put that person on a PIP, because that person is not adding value in your organization. If the person is high on performance and low on potential, then again, you want to invest into their learning skills, because the performance is already high, and that's what we need. And if someone's great on potential and great on performance, they fall into the leader segment. And you can also see that what are the number of people that you have in your organization who fall in these quadrants. Who are your core employees, who are your effective employees, who are your leaders. And similar to this, you will be able to plan your strategies, whether it is reskilling, whether it is attrition, or it is succession planning. And speaking of succession planning, we also have a succession planning modules where you can not only just define and plan the whole succession planning process, but it really starts from where you identify the critical positions. So typically it comes as more of a shocker to employees and organizations when some of their top starters just leave. So how do you prevent that? Well, we prevent it because we have a module that predicts the attrition. So the platform goes into as many details as to predicting that specific employee who is at the risk of attriting, right? It would give you the name and credentials of the person. It will also tell you the potential reason of why that person is planning to leave. And once you've identified the critical positions, you'll be able to identify successors, you'll be able to nominate, you'll be able to identify the flight risk as, whether it's low, medium, or high, what's the mobility of the person, is the person going to be ready in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months or whatever. You go ahead and put the comments and you go ahead and nominate the person. And once you've nominated the person, and once, because it's a very confidential process, once the HR goes through the final list, you'll be able to start the entire IDP, which is the development process for these specific successors, and they will be able to go through the 3 to 6 to 9 months plan for critical positions and go through that. And as they go through the plan, they will be able to see whether they are successful or not, and you will be able to choose your successors. So yeah, this is probably the last segment that we were talking about, that you could create a development plan. You would be able to see what are the segments that you want to focus on. The ones that are not started, you'll be able to see what's your goal, what's the role that you're in, what are the skills that you have, who's your mentor, and how you're doing on that particular subject. So yeah, that is something that I wanted to share. Well, there are a few more things, and of course, from an analytics perspective, you'll be able to see intelligent insights, which is not only predictive but also prescriptive and descriptive, which goes back to the whole people area, where you'll be able to see all the insights right from the skills, the roles, the succession planning, the development plans, and how people try to grow and move from one role to the other. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. This is something that I wanted to share. Happy to take any questions if there are any.
Thank you for your product demo and presentation, Ruchi. Over to you, Nidhi.
Hey, hi, Ruchi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Nidhi?
Absolutely fine. Your presentation was very insightful. I really like the quality of the product. It gives you end-to-end picture around the employee life cycle. My question was more around the data, like what is our source of data for this kind of, because what we are talking about a lot around data coming into the, data getting into a product, and then we are doing a lot of analytics, a lot of crunching and so forth. So what is the source of our data in this particular scenario?
Okay, so there are two sources that we have. The first source that we have is the data that is curated from all across the open sources. And, this is what I was referring to when I said knowledge graph. So there you have the data from the job boards. When you integrate your platform to the job board, you're able to capture the roles. You're able to capture the skills, so the job roles that organizations post on the job boards. You'll be able to look at what those roles are, what are the skills required for that role, what is the job description of that, and then you are also integrated to people data. So this is all the external market data that you have. Now, how that helps you is that you're able to look at that one role is defined in probably 20 different ways. So when you integrate to the job boards and I have to talk to a particular organization about, let's say, the role of a people manager. People manager could be an HR manager, could be a people success manager, could be another employee success manager or something like that, right? Now, how I'm able to understand these 4 roles and also the skills required of for these 4 roles, which is eventually one. And then tomorrow when I talk to an organization and they are using one of these roles, I'm able to give them recommendations. So this is one role. Then the skills. So again, skills is something that we take from all the open sources. And then we also try to establish the relationship between the skills. So for example, there is Java J2E, and there are other advanced forms of Java. So I'm able to create that skill graph where I'm able to tell you that, hey, if you want to go from one level of skill to the other level of skill, you have to take these additional learning courses. So this is one set of data. And the second set of data is the customer data. So I take the market data, I contextualize it, and I apply it to the customer specific data so that it makes sense to them. Does that answer your question, Nidhi?
It does. Just for my understanding, is this particular product more IT centric, or it can be used for non-IT as well?
No, it's been used across. It's actually industry agnostic. So we have clients, in industries like coal and mining, where you have employees working in the actual coal mine. So you have banking, financial sector, FMCG, governments. So we have government of Dubai is one of our clients. Coal mining, I just said. Education sector is the other sector. We have, NTUC Learning Hub is one of our customers. And yeah, so it's absolutely agnostic to the industry or a specific domain.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ruchi.
Thank you, Ruchi. Thank you,
Anything
Nidhi.
else?
Sure.
Over to you, Athilesh, for your 12 minutes session.
Yeah, hi, my name is Rotash. So I will be taking care from the Rchilli side. Hi, everyone. My name is Rotash and I'm representing Rchilli. So I'll start with a quick introduction about Rchilli. And what we do, we provide APIs for parsing and matching, which you can integrate with any platform where you're keeping the resumes or the job description. Rchilli head office is based out of California. We have another office in Toronto. Development team is based in India. Employees are globally placed: US, Canada, Eastern Europe, India, and Southeast Asia. And a few of our offerings, which is we help you parse the resumes and the job description through API. Through API, you can send the resume or a job description to us. We return a structured JSON output back to you, which you can be mapped with your database, or maybe in any platform like an applicant tracking system, CRM, job board, career site, or more. And we are one of the only service provider who also supports OCR parsing, which means scanned PDF documents. Taxonomy, like Rchilli has the largest in the market taxonomy. So when we say taxonomy, that's a library of skills and job title. We have currently 900,000 plus skills and around 500,000 job profiles. Then we also have a search and match APIs, which helps the recruiter. Let's say a recruiter is trying to fill up a job with a matching candidate. And through our APIs, that can be done in milliseconds. And then we also enrich the data from other social platforms like the contact details, the name, email, address, such as Lucia Full Contact. And so talking about our taxonomy, since that's our unique and largest in the market. So through our taxonomy, we give you synonyms. Let's say a project manager. So we give you all different synonyms, how different people can write project manager, or let's say delivery manager. We give an ontological classification, like a hierarchy, parent, child, grandchild of that skill and or a job profile. Then we also show you a job title to skill relationship. Let's say we have a job title as a project manager in the resume. Then we give you recommended skills, which is not there in the resume, but it is, but that is recommended by Rchilli's taxonomy. And then we also connect you with the additional databases, ESCO, ONET, and other government databases. And besides this, we are also into data migration. If anyone likes to migrate data from one platform to another, we can do that. That's the process that we follow. And the details are mentioned in the next slide. And that's how we usually do that. Maybe you can go through that. We do quick analysis, then the collection of data, mapping, migration, and then the last step, the verification. And Rchilli gives a high priority to the data security, since we have global customers right from US to Europe, UK, and Middle East, coming down to Asia, India, Southeast Asia. So we give high priority to data security. We have our privacy policy. We are compliant with GDPR. We are one of the only service provider which is SOC 2 Type 2 compliant. We're also ISO 27001 certified. And that's a quick end of the presentation part. And these are my details. If anyone is keen to contact us for a detailed demo, maybe you can take a note of this. And now in the second segment, and I will walk you through a quick demo. From the demo perspective, this is how our website looks like. We are also partnered with Oracle, Salesforce, PeopleSoft. As I said, we are also into data migration. Typically, our partners will be, as I said, it's a applicant tracking system, CRM, job boards, staffing companies, startups, small, medium business and enterprises. And if you click on the sign in button, you will land up to this interface. And so as I said, what we provide is APIs for parsing and matching. In a very simple explanation, we help a better candidate experience. If candidate is submitting the resume at any job portal, at the career site, they just need to upload the resume, and Rchilli will help to pull out all the details for the resume, starting, let's say, with the contact details, the work history, education history, and we enrich the skills and the job title. And besides that, we give you some additional intel. We provide the structured JSON output, and as I said a few minutes back, which you can map with your database. It looks like this. Like that's the file name. This is the region. That's the name. For a better UI, like this interface is only for the demo purpose. Actual product are the APIs. And so we pull out the contact details, the name, the email, the address, and then other details, passport details, and visa status, social details, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. So we pull out more than 140 fields from the resume. It's up to our customer which information or field they want to have and which they don't want to have. So that's completely a flexibility. And we pull out the entire work history of the candidate, the employer, start date, end date, entire work history. And then we pull out the educational history of the candidate. And let's say somebody has said the PhD in civil engineering. So we normalize that. We say that it's Doctor of Philosophy in Civil Engineering. Somebody has written master's degree in petroleum. Again, we normalize that. We say master's in petroleum engineering. And then we pull out the other details. If the bill rate, the payroll is mentioned in the resume, the languages the person has mentioned in the resume. From the additional intel, what Rchilli is giving, we tell you the total work experience in months, in a year. We pull out the gaps in the employment from the candidate resume. And besides that, what Rchilli does, we give you a role-based summary for the candidate, looking at their resume, the job title, their experience, and give you a role-based summary. Somebody has a mid-management, high management level experience, so we give you that kind of summary. So how it is helping? It is helping a recruiter. They can directly look into this summaries, and if this candidate is matching the requirement, they can have a deeper dive into the candidate profile or the resume. Then these are the other details which is mentioned there. And most importantly, as I said, if I go to, we enrich, we pull out and enrich all the skills and the job title. Let's say we got the skill, the web services, and from the resume, then we give you ontological classification, like a hierarchy, parent, child, grandchild. We give you alias or synonyms of this skill, web services, how different people can write that. And you can tag all these keywords in your database, and it will not be a keyword search. Let's say you're trying to find a web services guy, project manager, maybe in Dubai, maybe in Saudi Arabia, maybe in Iran, or any part of the world with 10 years of experience. So it will not only pull web service, it will pull all the other keywords. And that's how it is helping through Rchilli's taxonomy. We help you in the search and match. Then we also normalize the skill. We tell you where we have found that, experience section, summary section, some other part, when it was last used, how much time the person has spent on skill. Then each skill, we categorize that into a soft skill, behavior skill, operational skill. So this one is operational skill. If I quickly scroll down, I like to show you a job title to skill relationship. This is one of the employer of the candidate. This is the job title, Senior Technical Director. We normalize that title. We give you alias or synonyms of this job title, how different people can write this. And these are the skills then Rchilli is recommending through our taxonomy, along with the proficiency level. That's about the parsing. Similarly, you can parse job description. You can send through API. And we have our matching capabilities. We also have a taxonomy APIs. You can directly access through an API to Rchilli's taxonomy for the search and match. And I also like to share with everyone, we do support multiple languages besides English. If you are focusing on Middle East market, we support Arabic. We have few customers and we are growing there. So I'll take a pause so that anyone likes to see entire languages that we are supporting. And for the matching, so matching, we say that it's from two perspectives. Like everybody knows how the pandemic went, as in people were sitting at home with their required degrees and the education that they have. But a lot of people, we have seen that they took a self-learning, added skills. And so that's, and during that time, and there was a challenge with every team, with the HR teams to find the right talent. And so Rchilli is saying that the matching is from two perspectives. One, recruiter is trying to fill up a job with a matching resume with the required skill set, experience, location, education, and skills. Once, let's say that a recruiter has got Vanchita's resume as an HR, likes to see similar resume. So Vanchita's resume with similar resumes. Let's say a candidate from the candidate side, let's say a candidate has submitted the resume. Let's say Ruchi has submitted her resume at Indeed for a matching job. But once she has done that, she'll get a job-to-job comparison that, hey, Ruchi, how about this job? Let's say in Honda, in Nissan, in Toyota, in Daimler. And so that's the presentation from my side. And I'll be happy to take any questions. And let me reshare my screen one more time. And in case of more detailed discussion, any requirement, any questions, you can take down my details. We'll be happy to help you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rotash. Over to you, Nidhi.
Hi, Rotash.
Hi, Nidhi. How are you?
Hope you're doing well.
Very well.
Okay, so just a quick one. This parsing aspect that we've been talking about, it's with the employer. We are saying that the recruiter will have, like, suppose the recruiter downloads the CV, put it into the parsing software. It helps us to do a first level of screening and giving insightful information around a specific candidate. Is that correct?
That's somewhat correct. So what's happening that any job title, any job board, let's say Indeed, Monster, anyone. So any organization, and let's say they have a career site. So the candidates are applying for a job and they're submitting the resume. One way, or the primitive way, when the candidate is submitting the resume at a career site, and at a job board or at a CRM, so they were manually putting all the details. If I submit my resume, once I've done that, I will fill my contact details, my name, my email, my skills, my education, my employment. I hope people can recall that stage also. With the parser, what all these platforms, the job boards or a career site, let's say of any company, let's say Wipro, Accenture, Global Logic. So the parser has automated this process. They integrate our APIs, the parsing APIs, and once the candidate submits the resume, within seconds, all these details, candidate do not need to fill that. The parser will pull out from the resume and give additional intel. I hope it answers your question.
They're integrating it with the system, is it?
Yeah, it is a APIs that Rchilli is
Okay.
providing. That's right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the
So how different it is when it comes to, see, frankly speaking, when I as a recruiter go to LinkedIn and I try to search profiles, I do get these various options around it, right? So the different skill set around the specific. So we were talking about, synonyms, we were talking about the different additional skills that we can add on to the search and everything. So these prompts are also coming from LinkedIn. So how different would parsing look like for a recruiter?
See, firstly, you are collating your entire database. Let's say Nidhi, like you and your team is you are a recruitment firm. So you are getting the resumes from LinkedIn. We do not do scraping from the LinkedIn. Let me clarify that. So you're getting the resumes from the LinkedIn. You're getting the resumes from maybe Indeed, maybe Monster, maybe emails from the candidate directly. So firstly, you need to collate the entire database in terms of resumes or maybe job description. Then you need to have a platform with the front end that you're using. Maybe it's your in-house platform, your career site. Maybe it's a third-party service provider, like an applicant tracking system or a CRM or more that you're using. So basically, there is a front end that you're using. You've collated the entire data in terms of resumes. And then Rchilli, you integrate our APIs to pull out the details from resume. You pull out the details from the resume and the job description. And when you have both of them, you can do matching against them, resumes and the jobs.
Okay. No, as a maybe, for me to just put a, a test in place for these cases, wouldn't it be a more accurate option of filtering the profiles or giving an insight around it? Because if I insert in the whole screening process, I pull out the CV and I just put a, a test, maybe a codility. So I can use that, and then the CV gets filtered, and accordingly, the recruiter gets to know which profile is more suitable. I mean, the screening criteria changes for me. I mean, I'm just trying to understand, how does parsing really make a difference in this process?
Surely. So parsing will just pull out the details from the resume or a job description. Matching will help you with your question. Matching will help you in terms of recruitment, finding matching candidates. So through matching APIs, you can do that.
Okay. All right. This is it. And is there any latest trend that you see, and, parsing is trying to catch up with that?
We have listed the latest trends on our website, and if anyone is interested, I just need to unshare and reshare my screen. So anyone interested, they can download the latest trends from our website directly, which we have listed out there.
Okay. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Thank you, Rotash. Thank you, Nidhi. Talent indeed is the heart and soul of every organization, and efficient talent engagement and management is critical to ensure overall growth. Thank you, everybody, for joining in for the December edition of our demo hour. Special thanks to Nidhi for her time and effort. We thank Team Rchilli and Team Entomo for their demonstrations. Special thanks to Paramdeep and Rchilli for again supporting us in our demo hour series. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Take
everyone.
care.
Thanks,
care.
everyone. Take care.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.